What's good with the YouTube? You already know this is Big FLACO from a convict's perspective. ACP pushing that line all the time. Hope you guys are having a positive, productive day. Now let's get to this video, man. But before we do so, please hit the like, subscribe, comment, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. So, state of Arizona, you know, the red state, as they call it sometimes, right? The state where you come on vacation and you leave on probation. The place where your position in either, you know, the school district or the government will sometimes take you a long way, you know what I'm saying, to such heinous and hideous crimes as you're going to learn. You want to throw the book at someone who's an ex-gang member, right? Trying to live his life, you know, goes through his own personal struggles, right? But at the same time does not involve himself in things that are going to affect the community as a whole, okay? Really want to throw the book at, you know what I mean? Before I even got fucking arraigned, they already had all my fucking prior charges and my fucking YouTube fucking videos fucking with my picture on it, you know what I'm saying? Right there for the district attorney. As you guys already know, I had previous issues with this same sheriff department when they showed up to my house on some BS welfare checks. So when you see about 500 cops and a fucking, you know, border patrol and, you know, the bomb squad at my house, I mean, they really wanted to throw it on thick. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because of the injustices and the things that I've kind of been going through since I've had this fucking court case, man. It's a mockery of the judicial system, some of the stuff that I've already experienced and seen. In a state that doesn't use the priors of its own people, citizens, right, that they go past 10 years, they immediately were using 2 convictions that were plus 24 years ago. You know what I mean? Stuff that just is so outdated and amended, and certain charges wouldn't even be a felony today and would actually be an infraction, or what do you call a ticket. Now let's go into a couple things I've been having to face based upon this case, right, and some of the injustices and, you know, things that are being overlooked and just pretty much swept under the rug. Now, the alleged male victim involved in this case, right, if you tap into the AIMS, Arizona Inmate Management Services, which you have to be either law enforcement, a worker of the state, or just someone, so pretty much you have to either work within the prison or as a peace officer or as an attorney or something of that nature, or investigator, to have access to. Now it has him listed as a suspected Mexican mafia member. Now this same alleged victim has like 3 prior robbery and gun cases, okay? In addition to that, at the time of this alleged incident, right, okay, he had a warrant. He had already absconded, right? And his warrant is in the same courtroom where I'm at, about to go to trial. So here I am going through all the pre-trial motions, right? And you got this individual who went to court one time, right? In the same courtroom, he has a warrant. And even as he was leaving, threatened me, okay, as he was leaving in front of the district attorney, like it was nothing. I wish they would have been looking into all his background, his information, who he was, as opposed to immediately looking at me and wanting to throw the book at me based upon my fucking past. So here you have an individual who's supposed to be some high-powered street gang and then prison gang member, right? Who's supposed to be extremely active, doing all this stuff to try to cover himself because, you know, he can't be the ex-felon with a gun and his past and whatnot, right? And they basically took it and ran with it because it's the narrative that they wanted to run with. And they've allowed him to sit there and be out there on the streets committing more crimes. As he had warrants, going to the court, right, room where he has a fucking warrant, and then nothing happened. Basically, they put his warrant that he had on the back burner, basically for this case, until he actually caught a crime, dangerous drugs and whatnot, and I don't know the full details, right, but it was something that involved a law enforcement officer, believe it or not. Now I had to go through the indigent process as far as not being able to pay for an attorney no more after I spent $10,000, and on top of that, man, they ended up giving me an attorney, like I said, man, that didn't give no attention to the case, didn't really care about it, and it just was weird, you know, like totally, like it felt like a setup, man. Like, okay, this guy doesn't really care about my case. He doesn't even talk to me. He doesn't ask me details, and when I did talk to him briefly one time, he's just not even acknowledging anything that I have to say. Well, I don't know that. You know, I'm not used to an attorney meeting up with your attorney after your court case and him just walking away from you and not even talking to you and telling you what we got to do. Well, I said with all the details of stuff that I do know, nothing's been touched on that. It's pretty much been fucking bypassed, and it only makes you wonder in a small county, right? Which this county's not that big, right? That pretty much has a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people are really close as far as whether you're a public defender or district attorney or judge, because it's a small community. There's relationships there. And everything, and I'm like, man, there's nobody here that's trying to make sure that my rights are protected, you know, and I'm doing all this stuff. I told the clerk last time, I said, I don't want this guy as my attorney. He's not even here yet. And this is like 2 hours into the court proceedings, and my attorney doesn't even show up. And then when he does, I told you what ended up happening, you know, and there's been no type of communication. I've since contacted the attorney, and even when he responded back, like, you know, about the case a little bit, right, as he was withdrawing himself, he had information that was there that was wrong, that I never even mentioned, or that his own investigator kind of fucking spun when he talked to me. And so I've reached out to him. He had to file a motion, and so here we are, you know, on the rise of a trial that's supposed to happen. I don't have an attorney yet that knows anything about my case or which direction we're going or anything. And this guy didn't even look into anything that he had in regard to me. So I'm kind of in a situation where, man, this is a place where they give people that have like chomo charges and whatnot a year in the county jail, but yet they want to throw the book at me. It makes no sense. On top of that, this same law enforcement, right, that's in this case, actually left my house open. They have surveillance of people that went in my house, I guess, when I was fucking, you know what I'm saying? Had yet to turn myself in, and allowed my stuff to all get fucking pretty much stolen. Didn't take any safeguards, didn't take any type of protection, didn't even lock the doors when they left. Even showed up and pretty much helped them in to go fucking steal shit from me. And all this has been addressed, but it's all been fucking overlooked. No one's took the initiative to say, look, man, this shit's fucking wrong right here. That's everything that's happened. Now, even when I turned myself in, right, they got me in front of the jail, meeting with my attorney, and had the audacity to sit there and tell the news reporters, right, and news channels that they had captured me. Like I was some, you know, suspect out there that was on the run, and that they actually fucking located me and got me in jail. All kinds of things just misrepresented themselves. I said you had a teacher who was in a highly publicized case out here for 20 years, numerous accusations of heinous and hideous crimes towards children. The man only got 10 fucking days with numerous fucking proofs and stuff like that. The judge sentenced him to 10 days. That you presenting priors, which technically you're not supposed to use these priors in my case to justify the charges and whatnot and the sentencing disposition, okay, of stuff that happened over 20 something years ago, okay, that don't have, in California, some of these priors would not even be able to be used because today they would be an infraction. Back then it was a felony, but yet Arizona is still trying to use those to add into their disposition for, you know, their whole sentencing guidelines to try to give me the max. Technically, they're not supposed to use anything that's over 10 years. These things are 20 something years old, right? And the interesting thing is, if you're an Arizona resident, like I said before, they're not going to use nothing that goes past 10 years. So motions are being filed today, basically to remove the current attorney that I have. And, you know, I don't know what type of, you know, backroom deals that these guys make and whatnot, right? But all I've seen is something that just has had no type of ability to give me my due process. You know what I'm saying? My right to proper representation, my right to basically a fair trial, my right to not allow them to manipulate the system and cater to an individual because they want to fucking have them testify against me. It's all been about my past since this allegedly happened. It's all been about, you know, the gang statuses and whatnot, and the YouTube channel stuff, and all that stuff, right, has played a role in the way that they've decided to prosecute me. Okay, it's funny, nothing's been said about this other individual, and his, you know, record is extremely active recently. My record has not been active for fucking years. Part of the reasons why I'm doing this video right now is it's basically a track record, besides me calling it and keeping logs of everything and writing, the courts and doing whatever I gotta do, I'm just trying to CYA, you know what I'm saying? Or CMA, cover my ass. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it for me. I've been shocked at how this whole process has just been a fucking run at the mill, like neglecting certain details of things that are important, that should be brought up, that need to be spoken about, and if nobody's going to be a voice for me in that courtroom, then I got to be a fucking voice for myself. So you got a dude that's been a pathological liar and active criminal like the last few years, right? Tell whatever story he has to cover his ass because he has a warrant, and doesn't want to get his own previous possessor type of case, right? Take what he says and run with it because it's the narrative that you want to run with. And wait, in the police report, every statement that's been made by these alleged victims, there's been 6 different stories that have been told, and not one time were their stories able to match up. Days later, speaking to them till they were able to put their stories together. The initial interviews and the whole process, man, there's shit that's just so conflicting and just so much of a lie, right? That even if you're a fucking law enforcement or an attorney, you can look at it and say, man, this isn't what this person said, okay, but now why days later is this whole story coming together as the same story? That's the good thing about police reports, is that you can use all that in a trial and you can prove that a person has switched up their statements and what they've said happened. As you guys know, I haven't gave any statements. I haven't said whether I was there or not. I haven't said whether their story was some type of a conspiracy fucking against me. I haven't said anything about that. Like I said, I'll let that all happen if we go into trial. I'll let the cards lay where they lay, and it's going to lay on my side 100%. My whole thing is, well, prove I did something. Okay? Prove it. Because, like I said, there's nothing that could really, pinpoint exactly what happened by credible witnesses. It looks like almost like they were trying to pretty much safeguard and protect each other because what they were doing was wrong. You know what I'm saying? They found bullet holes from a whole nother fucking situation in the female that was with this individual at the hospital. They found from a whole nother incident. You know what I'm saying? And the interesting thing about that is where the ties lay there is with one of the neighborhoods that has a close relationship with what this individual is supposed to be. So it's kind of like a little conspiracy situation. Like, wow, like how the hell are they all involved in this and that, man? Yet, here comes FLACO, man, from California, man, not actively in the mix like that no more. You know what I'm saying? And yet these individuals are allegedly active, and yeah, you're putting a case on me? Shit. It makes more sense based upon their associations and, ties, that it would be them that would be the aggressors to hurt me. And I'm not saying that happened. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying about the injustices that have been going on. And it's kind of like a mockery of how I've seen things be undertook. You know what I mean? It's all been focused on one angle, one area, and that's it. And you have some people that don't want to see it any other way because this is the narrative that they want to push. Even though when you look at the foundation of it's crumbling, it's falling apart. It's kind of interesting that with all the stuff that I talked about right now, that not once has any of this been presented in talks in all these months to even the prosecuting attorneys. Not any of it. And it's all factual shit. That's the problem that I have, man, that people aren't doing their jobs. You know what I mean? These are the things that they need to have addressed to the courts, that they need to talk to the judicial attorney, that they need to point out. This is the case that you're building for me as far as a defense without me even having to go into the courtrooms yet. Just based upon the fact of, where these individuals were as far as actively in their criminal lifestyle. What's even worse, right, that people need to also talk about is their whole process of how they deal with inmates. It's terrible, man. I had a man down situation when I was there briefly for 40 minutes before any officer came into the pod, and it took them fucking literally 25 minutes. I couldn't even fucking move at the time, right? And there's other numerous people I know that are having issues, medical. Anyways, yeah, this is just a current update. Today, the motion got filed, man, and this is the type of attorney that I had, that I made a remark to him that I would rather represent myself than have him represent me. You know what he tells me in my letter that I have from him, email? Oh, I can put in for a motion for you to represent yourself if you want. What type of proper counsel is that? A true attorney is going to sit there and say, look, you may have a little bit of knowledge, but you should always have an attorney when you go into situations like this. You're supposed to be given proper counseling as an attorney, not misleading someone or not, pushing them a direction that could be kind of dangerous or harmful. That's the type of behavior I've had since I had to lose my other attorney. No attorney is ever supposed to ever give that type of advice. And the fact that I said it, he still is supposed to be my attorney until that motion goes through, and he should have been telling me, like, look, I don't advise you to do that. That's something you have to rethink. The odds are not too good for someone who self-represents himself. But I got none of that. I got asked, do you want me to put that in the motion? Anyways, so far, all the defense in regard to my case, like the other case factors to it, fucking none of that's came through my any attorneys that have been given to me, any investigation, anything. It's all came from me, my own footwork. Kind of crazy, huh? Anyways, with that said, this is what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's people who commit some type of like heinous and hideous type of crimes and stuff like towards kids and whatnot that will get that slap on the wrist. I've been reformed, rehabilitated. I had a part of my life where I was going through some stuff, and maybe my decisions weren't always the best, right? But you can't undo the work that I've done in myself. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to do that on my own 2 feet, on my own abilities to, get past all the BS. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, some people fake it till they make it. You know what I mean? And that's what's happened with this case. This dude had all kinds of fucking shit that's going on with him, and it's not even being an issue, and he's still committing crimes. You know what I'm saying? As recently as 2 months ago. Okay, another felony that he's probably gonna go to prison for. Anyways, I know a lot of you haters out there, right? For whatever reasons, I could be doing the most good. I could fucking sit there and give you guys a cure for cancer, but you're still gonna hate on me, right? Or fucking hoping and fucking praying and fucking putting on your calendar, hoping that fucking I do some major time and basically get life. But you know what, man? I never have ever gone down in any situation without a fight, man. Especially when what's right is always on my side. Okay? Everything that, like I said from the beginning, has been an aroma of stink. An aroma of bullshit. An aroma of just fucking turning the cheek just because of whatever ulterior motive some have. You know what I mean? Anyways, with that said, man, I hope you guys have a positive weekend, man. Like I said, I'm trying to bring different new content, but I thought that this needed to be addressed because, hey, man, I need to keep a track record, basically, like a paper trail. But this is also a paper trail because, look, I did this video on this date. This is what happened. Hey, this is what I've been saying. And you can't dispute it because this is what I've been putting out there. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, with that said, I'm out.